Hi everyone, in the given problem statement of valid Sudoku, determine if a 9 cross 9 Sudoku board is valid. Only the fill cell needs to be validated according to the following rules. Each row must contain 1 to 9 digits without repetition. Each column must contain digits 1 9 without repetition, and each of the 3 cos 3 sub-boxes of the grid must contain the digits 1 and 9 without repetition. Now, in order for us to work on it, first we are going to iterate all the rows in this Sudoku. Here write 5 3 7. So 5 3 7, right? All of them are getting repeated only one time, so none of the repetitions are happening, so it's a valid row. In case there was a value of 7, then we are going to say that this is invalid and we are going to break that loop and return false. Similarly, we are going to, once that is done, we are going to iterate through the loop from all the column wise values. So the values would be 5, 6, 8, 4 and 7. 5 6 8 4 7, and here right we are able to see that none of the values are getting repeated, so it's a valid column. Then we are going to go to the next column, which is 3 9 and 6. Similarly we're going to do for the rest. Once that is done, right, we are going to take the sub boxes of, this would be our matrices, this would be sub boxes, and here would be the values are 5 3 6 9 and 8. So here if I list it down, so the values are 5 3 6 9 and 8. Here none of the values are getting repeated, so this sub boxes is valid. Then we are going to move to the next sub boxes and we are going to repeat the process, and once all the rows, columns and sub boxes are validated, we are going to return true. So here, right, instead of, it's not a very complicated problem, but we have to traverse these matrices in a very stringent way to fulfill our given condition. Now let us jump to the Python solution. Now let us first loop through the values. So here let me write a for loop. So for I in range, and here I am looping through all the row wise. So 0 to length of our board, once that is done, we are going to create a variable called val, and it is going to have all the values but so board of I. So one thing that you need to understand here, right, is that there are also empty spaces which are denoted by a dot, and I don't want to be bothered about that empty spaces or dot values. So in order to remove those values, I can add a simple filter function. So let me type in list filter, and I'm going to pass in a lambda function where x is not going to be equal to our dot value, and let me close this. Now we are going to check if length of our val is equal to, in case it's not equal to, length of our set of val. The reason we are doing it, right, in case a value get repeated, right, the size is automatically going to decrease, because set only takes care of the numbers that are getting, means that are unique, right? So in case, right, if there are some duplicate values, then automatically the length is going to decrease, and we can figure out effectively that there is a duplicate present. So we are going to return false. Now, once we have done through row wise, we have to do through column wise. So for I in range, and this problem would be a little bit bigger because there are a lot of cases that we need to take care of. Board. Again, we have to create a dictionary, dictex, which is going to be an empty dictionary for now. And then for j in range, 0 to length of board, and we are going to take in the first row because we are going to do it on the width basis. So if board of j and I, again here, right, we are ignoring the our dot values, so we do not require it. So if it's not equal to our dot value, then we are going to proceed it. So if board of j and I is in dictex, then we are able to see that the value got repeated because it is present in the dictionary. In that case, we are going to return false. Else, we are going to add that value to our dictionary. So dictex of board of j comma I equal to 1. And now for the third condition, right, where we are going to check for the sub boxes. So for I in range, 0 to length of board, -2, because we are going to iterate, right, till the last boxes, and the step function is going to be 3, because here, right, all the sub boxes of our value is 3, right, 3 cross 3. So we are going to loop it till length of board -2, just to take it there into count. For j in range, 0 to length of board, because it is guaranteed, right, it's going to be 9 cross 9. So even if you write in length board, it is going to work. But for the convention, right, I'm just adding board of 0 because we are wanted to count the length of that row, and our step function is going to be 3. Now what we're going to do, we are going to initialize a temporary variable which is going to have all the values of that sub box. So it would be board of I and j, then board of I plus 1 and j, then board of I plus 2 and j, then board of I and j plus 1, board of I plus 1 and j plus 1, then board of I and j plus 2, then board of I plus 1 and j plus 2, and at last board of I plus 2 and j plus 2. So if you count the values, right, so it is I think I missed a very value. Ij, I plus 1j, I plus 2j, ij plus 1. Okay, I missed one more variable, which is board of I plus 2 and j plus 1. So we need to check in those values. Now, right, I'm going to filter the temp. So list filter lambda of x, where x is not equal to comma our temp value, because we do not want to be bothered with our dot value, so we need to filter that out. And then again the same value. So if length of temp is not equal to length of set of temp, in that case we are going to return false. And at last, right, if all the checks are completed and none of the return false has been executed, then we can validly say, right, this is a valid Sudoku. So we are going to return true. So there is a lot of lines of code and lot of areas where our code could falter. So let me run it and hope everything works fine. So here I made a mistake. So let me check for the spelling. Yeah, I made a spelling error out here, which is this value. Now let me run it up. I hope this is the last error. The spelling errors happens a lot. Now if I try to submit it up, right, the public test case is passed. Let me submit it up. As you could see, it is beating 100% of the submission, and our code is pretty efficient because it passed all the test cases. So that's all for this video. See you in the next one.